Welcome inside a dessert factory where robots pipe frosting straighter than a ruler and a machine writes "Happy Birthday" like a real hand. In one shift, this line sends out thousands of cakes. Golden sponges, sharp layers, clean edges, zero fingerprints. The secret is not a grandma recipe. It starts with a hygiene ritual that would impress a lab, an egg machine that cracks like lightning, and mixers that turn simple flour into a silky base in minutes. Stay with me. You will see how tiny bubbles vanish with one hit on the table, how ovens lock a perfect rise, how layers stack with fruit and cream, and how a metal arm draws chocolate swirls without a single shake. At the end, you will watch a nozzle write a message for someone you love. Ready? Hairnets on. Hands washed. Let's walk the line. Welcome to a bright, clean bakery floor where every move matters. The shift begins at the sinks. Elbows up. Soap covers each finger and each palm. Rinse. Dry. Fresh gloves slide on. Hair and sleeves stay tucked. Crates of eggs arrive first. A compact machine grabs each egg, splits the shell with a quick pinch, and guides the liquid down a fine screen. Shells fall away to a bin. Yolks and whites flow forward in a smooth stream. No chips. No stray bits. A scale tracks volume to the gram, so recipes stay exact every time. Flour, sugar, and liquid eggs meet in a tall stainless bowl. A weigh station checks each load before a single spoon enters the mix. The mixer wakes up, blades spinning in a steady rhythm. Air folds through the batter. Lumps fade. Gloss appears on the surface. A baker lifts the paddle. The batter falls in a silky ribbon that sits on top for a moment, then melts in. That simple ribbon test says the texture is right. Flavor choices sit on a nearby rack. Deep cocoa waits in one tub. Matcha powder gives a soft green lift in another. Blueberry puree brings a purple tone and a sweet tart note. Strawberry puree shines bright and red. Lemon zest piles in a small tray and sends a fresh scent into the room. One batch turns dark and rich with cocoa. Another turns pale green and light with tea. A third glows with fruit. Each one keeps the same base texture, so baking time stays predictable. Portioning begins. Spouts pour batter into round tins. A scale under each station keeps weights even, so every cake rises to the same height. Tiny bubbles sit on top. Each tin gets one firm tap on the table. Bubbles break and rise to the surface. Air pockets leave before they can cause tunnels inside the sponge. Oven doors close with a soft seal. Heat holds steady. Fans move air in an even loop. Through the window, sponges climb the sides and dome gently. Tops turn golden. A probe slips in and comes out clean. Done. Pans slide to a cooling lane where air moves across the surface so moisture settles and the crumb stays tender. Cooled cakes move to the slicer. A narrow band blade glides through the rounds. 3 layers. Sometimes 4. Each pass stays level. No tears. No lean. Slices fall into neat stacks that travel onto a belt. The team lifts each layer with flat hands and sets it down with care. The room feels brighter when rows of clean layers drift past the lights. A good run lifts morale. Now the layers gain flavor. A wide spreader lays cream in a thin, even coat. Strawberry jam adds a sweet tart spark. Custard gives a velvet feel. Lemon curd hits sharp and sunny. A fresh layer sits on top. Press lightly. Turn a quarter. Repeat the pattern. The stack builds height. Cut sides show neat bands of cake and filling like rings on a tree. Each band looks even and smooth. While stacks form, the frosting station prepares the coat. Butter, sugar, milk, vanilla, and water go on the scale. No scoops by guess. The bowl locks in. The whisk rises and spins. The mix turns pale and light. Soft peaks stand and hold. The finish has a slight shine and a cloud feel. Not heavy, not greasy. A quick taste check confirms balance. Sweet, but not too much. Smooth on the tongue. Ready. Robotic arms join the line. A flat blade drops and spreads a base coat in one steady pull over the top. The cake turns slowly on a small wheel while the blade smooths the sides. Ridges fade. Corners settle. A second arm pours a thin line of chocolate ganache, then sweeps once to level it into a quiet mirror. Movements stay calm even while the belt speeds up. Sensors track position so no pass misses its mark. Shapes shift at command. A tap on the panel, and the nozzle obeys. Round molds glide in first, then square, then rectangle. Orders tagged special flash a soft light, hearts, stars, and rings of celebration. A stencil arm lowers, tracing a swirl of cream so smooth it catches the light like silk. Another head replaces it, spiraling Ganake in a perfect helix. Nearby, a small mechanical pick places each macaron, pink, yellow, mint, one by one, in even rhythm around the rim. The movement feels alive. Fruit trays roll forward. Strawberries land first, sliced in fanned arcs that lean slightly, like petals. Blueberries fill the spaces with precise drops of color. Thin lemon slices follow, translucent and golden, bringing a hint of citrus to the air. The room smells sweet, cool, and faintly sharp, sugar and lemon and cream. Every motion relies on timing. The right chill, the right set point for the cream, the exact seconds between each pass. Cameras blink, sensors hum, air compressors sigh softly. Nothing rushes, nothing drifts. It all flows like choreography, the quiet rhythm of precision turning batter and fruit into art. Thank you for walking the line with me. Tell me your perfect cake in one short line. Flavor, filling, a tiny message on top. I read the comments and pick a favorite for a shout out in the next episode. If this tour gave you fresh ideas, like the video, share it with someone who loves dessert, and watch the next episode on chocolate detail and sugar art. See you soon. Golden rings and bite-sized treats look simple on the tray, yet a precise system powers each batch. A timer ticks, hot oil holds steady at 375, and a single turn of a metal handle drops perfect circles that rise like little life rafts. A baker flips them in seconds, glaze flows like glass, and a display case turns into a rainbow of texture and taste. That scene feels normal now, but one idea made this ritual. A lunch truck owner saw how a cup of Arabica coffee with a sweet round snack could change a morning. He opened a tiny shop, watched guests dunk, and then leaned into the habit so hard that a brand grew to thousands of locations across dozens of countries. Stay close. You will hear the origin, see how cake and yeast styles take shape, and learn how a leftover cutout turned into a top seller. Coffee in hand, we head inside the kitchen. The story starts in Massachusetts. Bill Rosenberg ran lunch trucks after the war and tracked every sale. Coffee and donuts led the ledger. So he opened a small bakery called the Open Kettle in 1948. He stood at the counter and saw a simple move again and again. Guests dipped a donut into hot coffee. He embraced the habit and, in 1950, he renamed the shop Dunkin' Donuts. Growth did not arrive in a day. He needed a bigger draw. So he offered 52 flavors in one place, a glass case full of choice pulled eyes, and families left with boxes instead of a single piece. A morning ritual took root. Now we step behind the counter. Shops use 3 supply paths. Large stores mix and fry on site each morning. Regional bakeries send trays to busy locations that need volume. Small formats keep frozen batches that heat on site. The path depends on space and management, yet every donut starts with one of 2 bases. Yeast gives a soft, airy bite with a pale ring around the waist. Cake gives a firm bite and a sturdy crumb. First, the cake base. Staff pour water into a stainless bowl and add a proprietary dry mix. Wheat flour, nutmeg, non-fat milk powder, egg powder, sugar, and salt anchor the blend. The batter must move fast. No rest. A machine called a Belshaw plunger stands ready. Dunkin' adopted this tool to keep shape and speed tight. A baker sets a timer, turns the handle, and the plunger drops identical rings, 1 per second, into hot oil that holds at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. The rings sizzle for 45 seconds. A staff member flips them, then they cook for 45 seconds more. A rack lifts the batch out. The color turns honey gold. Air cools the surface to set the crumb. A glaze, a frost, or a coat of sugar waits nearby. Chocolate cake uses the same base with cocoa folded in. The plunger drops uniform rings again. Each side needs a longer cook, around 1.5 minutes per side, so the center sets and the cocoa flavor blooms under heat. The tray rises, the rings cool, and a rich shine will land later. Now the cake munchkins. The tool swaps to a nozzle that releases 4 small portions with each turn. Tiny spheres fall into the oil. A second screen presses them under the surface so they cook evenly for close to 3 minutes. A lift, a drain, and a cool period of 20 minutes set them for glaze or sugar. Small size, big payoff. French crullers call for a different base. Staff use a Parta shoe-style mix with a higher egg ratio. The plunger holds a special star-shaped nozzle. One turn forms a ridged ring. Heat meets moisture, steam expands inside, and air pockets form. The texture turns light, the center feels custard soft, and the ridges set clean lines. Each side cooks for 2 minutes and 45 seconds at 375. Then the tray rises and cools for a glaze that will settle deep in each groove. Now the yeast base. This path takes more steps. A baker loads a mixer with a proprietary blend of wheat flour, milk powder, egg powder, dough conditioners, and stabilizers. Active yeast and water enter next. The hook kneads until the dough turns smooth and elastic. A proof box prepped at roughly 90 degrees with high humidity holds the dough for 10 minutes. Volume doubles, and a net of tiny bubbles forms inside. Rollers feed the dough through a sheeter again and again until the sheet hits a set thickness near ½ an inch. A cutter stamps rings and the small centers in one pass. Staff set raw rings on a fry screen and return them to the proof box. This second rise lasts roughly 45 minutes. The dough puffs, the surface feels tender, and a faint aroma spreads through the room. The screen slides into hot oil at 375. The lift drops, the rings float, and a staff member flips each piece after 45 seconds. Another 45 seconds, then the tray rises. The classic pale ring around the middle appears, a badge of a good yeast donut. A rack holds them as oil drips and steam escapes. Filled yeast donuts skip the hole on purpose. A solid cutter stamps each round. Then the tray heads to the proofer so the rise matches the rings. Fry time runs longer here, about 3 minutes per side, so the thick center cooks through. Up they come, draining and cooling. A rack of golden shells ready for filling and finish. Those missing centers never go to waste. They become yeast munchkins. Staff sweep the small rounds onto a screen, lower them into hot oil, and set a top screen to keep them under. A quick nudge with a hand tool rolls each piece so every face sees the heat. The batch takes roughly 90 seconds, then a lift, a drain, and a cool. Thanks for staying to the end. If you want more deep kitchen tours and origin stories that turn a snack into a movement, hit subscribe and drop a comment with your favorite style. Do you crave a classic glaze, a cruller with a shiny coat, or a Boston creme with that smooth center? Next time, we step inside another sweet icon and follow the heat, the tools, and the choices that shape a legend.